Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're ticking off another challenging approach tutorial, part of the flyUK challenging approaches events, and today we're heading into Eagle County, Kilo Echo Golf Echo in Colorado in the United States using the A32NX. So level at 14,000 at the moment, and we're going to discuss pretty much what to expect when you guys take part in the event, and for those of you who aren't part of flyUK might want to give it a go, then of course I'm going to show you how, or at least try to. Now I've gone ahead already and input the approach data in, QNH of 3018, temperature's -8 degrees and wind currently 156 at 13, transition altitude of 18,000 feet, and we've got an MDA of 9220 feet as well at the moment. So what you need to do is you need to make sure your flight plan takes you via RLG, which is a VOR, and sadly there's no other arrival procedures in Microsoft Flight Simulator for Eagle County except for the LDA 25 runway 25 via Waxer. So that's all we can do, that's all we can put in, but it does give us a frequency of 108.3 to use, so that's pretty good. Now if we take a look at Navigraph, that's the approach that we're going to be doing, and you can see at the top here, Kremling RLG, we need a frequency of 113.8 to go into the VOR. Stick that to VOR 1, and also there's a snow for missed approach 109.2, which you can see on the charts just there. 109.2. So we'll program that one into VOR2. The ILS frequency comes from the charts itself, and similar to Innsbruck I guess in a way, with the special lock DME East procedure. And we've got the frequency of 109.75, that needs to go in. The one that the sim has put in is not correct. But we're going to fly out of Kremling, south heading of 184 degrees via Quandary and Waxer down to Aquila. We're then going to turn west and fly this 3-degree offset localizer. So similar to Innsbruck, it's not a localizer that's in line with the runway itself, it's actually offset to the runway by 3 degrees. So something to watch for if you are going to land on 25 itself. And you can see that once we get to Aquila, we want to start descending from 12,900, step down to 12,200 at Weehal, and Isle 10,400, Washi 9,800 to intercept the localizer. And there's some information there for your MDA for straight in landings using runway 25. On Navigraph, however, there is a other chart, RANAV GPS Delta, and this is kind of what we're going to try and replicate today, in the sense that we're using the circle to land MDA down the bottom here. So a category C aircraft in the A320, so our MDA is 9,220 feet. The great thing with Navigraph as well is you get a reference page, and we can see here runway 7 uses a right hand traffic pattern. That tells us what way we're going to break off for the downwind leg for the circling procedure, and there's no straight in instrument approach for that runway. Circle to land restrictions exist and refer to the appropriate approach procedure, but as you can see from what we just looked at, there weren't any relevant to it really. So the LDA 109.75, make sure that goes in, and that's all we can do at the moment. Let's go back to manage mode and start to slow the aeroplane down, and let's turn these VORs on. RLG is there, we can see that coming up, and then the procedure as well further up. Now as the aircraft starts to make its way in, we'll turn terrain mode on because of the terrain around us. Effectively what we're going to do is, once we get to Sipku, 3.5 miles, we're going to brake off left, because it's a right hand traffic pattern for 07. So for us coming in the opposite direction, we're going to brake off left towards where it says 2, and we're going to have to brake off and just try and make it work for us really, and work out when we need to fly that downwind leg. So it's all going to come down to visuals. If we struggle at any point, then we're going to have to brake off and fly direct to the snow VOR, and then climbing, turning right, and then intercepting the radial of 001 degrees from snow up to Jesse to hold, and our missed approach data at the top there for us to help. Really turbulent at the moment on the way in as well. So not very much data for us to consider with this, so we're just going to have to throw ourselves in and see how it goes. As according to the METARs as well, there's a considerable crosswind for us as well, but it does favour 07, so we're going to have to watch our drift on the way in as well. Runway length is 9,000 feet, so loads of runway for us. We can use low water brake for that. So, Kremling at 14,000, we're stable at that at the moment. Then we're going to start a descent down to Aquila, 12,900. We could probably do that at Quandary. Well, actually Quandary isn't in the flight plan. We've got Voaxa though, but we want to be at 12,900 by that point anyway. Once we get to Aquila, or AQULA, however that's pronounced, we want to then continue a descent down to 12,200 feet, Isle at 10,400, and so on. So particularly handy if you've got a second screen, you'll be able to refer to the charts to help you out. Let's get the landing lights and things on. Signs as required. And we go ahead and activate approach phase. Great scenery. Eagle County is sort of in this part of the valley here down below. But this is the first time I'm flying in, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. But we'll give it a go. Those of you who fly UK, when you give the event a go, it'll be your first time probably as well, so we'll see what happens. Fantastic scenery though. The localizer is going to give us a glide slope of 3.8 degrees as well, and we're going to make use of track FPA mode. So as a reminder for that, we're going to activate that button and we're going to turn the flight directors off, and it gives us the bird. Being 10,000 feet up as well, what you probably want to do as we start to descend is look at turning the APU on as well. There we go, it's just 0 degrees at 0 knots now. So Voaxa's next. We want 12,900 to achieve by Aquila. Really turbulent. Put that back into manage mode so we can hold the green dots and let the aircraft manage the speed. So the reason why we'd put the APU and things on as well, over time once the mod accepts all of this and it's got it all wired in properly in the sim if you like, it will divert a lot of the bleed air for the cabin pressurisation systems into the APU, so you then effectively have more power for the engines. One thing that's worth noting is if we're in a Cat C or D aircraft like we are today, our MDA is 9,220 feet. But the box for the 1 relates to the fact that circling is not authorised for Cat C and D south of runway 7 and 25. So in this instance, for us in the A320, what we're going to have to do is break off to the right and fly in the northern part of the valley area while we make our way in. It's really turbulent. So passing over this next crest and then into this valley here, turning right. Eagle County is, I would imagine, the other side of that ridge, in that valley somewhere. Minimum's 9,220, so ideally we see the airport at that point, and we continue. We keep visual of it as best as we can. Aquila's coming up. Let's go flaps 1. So we're just passing Voaxa, 6 miles to Aquila, and then we're turning for that offset localizer. So that's picking that up, that's good. And we probably now start to step down to 12,200. Great scenery. What a fantastic part of the world. So coming up to Aquila now, Aquila. Turning at Aquila, let's go flaps 1. And Wihal is next at 15.2 DME. Let's arm lock mode. See if it captures the localizer. Probably won't. 9,800 is the next. That's the start of the glide slope. And there's the airport dead ahead. Flaps 2, that's going to increase the drag on the airframe, help slow us down, especially for the steep approach. 3.8 degrees for this one. And everything else is set up ready to go. So auto brake low, spoilers armed, cabin secure. Let's start the APU. Now we're a little above and we're still chasing. There's not too much to worry about. Let's get rid of the flight director. And we're at 12.5 miles now. Seems to be picking up the horizontal guidance. And we're just keeping slightly on top of that glide slope as well. We have initiated quite a steep initial descent there though. Let's continue down. And our minimums was 9,220, but the nature of this, we're going to have to actually continue a descent further down, so I'm going to set 1,000 foot above airfield elevation, so let's do 7,500 feet. Let's try and force that nose back down again. 9 miles, let's go gear down. And you can see how that offset is now working for us. But category C aircraft, we can't break off left and fly south of the airfield because of all the terrain. So we're forced to head up this little section here and make our way in, I guess. Minimums.
Minimum.
Well, we're going to continue. Now, on the basis of the terrain, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come off lock mode. We've got track FPA on, let's get rid of the terrain map, and I'm going to try and aim for this edge of the terrain here. Gear down 3 green. So category A and B aircraft would have to do this going south, and you've got that ridge to contend with there. And then you need to be mindful that the terrain there ahead of us is coming actually towards us, so if you fly too far out, you're going to have to bear in mind that you're going to have a steeper turn to avoid the terrain as you work your way back in. Now this isn't an easy one, to be fair, and for category C and D aircraft, technically I don't think we can do the circle to land, but for the purpose of the challenge we're going to do it anyway. So levelling off at 7,500. Let's see. We can probably afford to come out a little more. Full flaps. There's the airport. It's so tight in this valley, it's ridiculous. If you were going to go to the south, you'd break off. You just take it as wide as you want, I guess. You'd come all the way out here and take it nice and shallow. This is really tight for us. There's no blue. There's the threshold. I'm absolutely making this up now. If you give this a go, let me know how you're getting in the comments. Fairly certain we shouldn't be doing it in an A320, but hey ho. Okay, so 30 degrees. Well, that nose is going to have to come up. Aeroplane's fighting to keep 140 knots. Not particularly stable for this, so it should really be a go around. And we're down. It's a really tricky one. So there we go, a bit of a tricky circle to land into Eagle County, really tight, terrain everywhere, and no charts to help us actually with the circling procedure, so give it a go, let me know how you get on. Those of you taking part in the event, enjoy it. It's a really tricky one actually, I've had to do this twice to give it a go. First time mucked it up entirely, so it's a really tough one. But let me know how you're getting in the comments, whether or not you take the southern approach for the circling procedure, which is what we're supposed to do for category A and B, or if you've taken the tighter option and gone to the north like I've had to do being in an A320. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon for a live stream in the very near future.